Odo is there.
Oh, he is. They can hear us. Hello.
Hey.
Day by warning.
Whoa.
Oh, aye. What's up? All right. Hey, can we, before we get too deep this week, can we do a quick little, like, official sound check just to be clear? Just to, like, everybody, like, hey, what up?
Check.
Testes. Am I good?
You're good, bro. Nah, bro. Last
D's.
No, thank you. Nah, bro. Like, what is it? It wasn't until I got the footage last week that I realized how big of a difference the audio, that one little button did to the audio. And I was like, bruh, I was so salty. But
Yeah.
yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Fault Partner Panel. Not much to go over, quite frankly. Like, there hasn't been anything new in the past week. So we're actually going to dive into one or two conversations here that, some people might not like because of how realistic we might get in some of these areas. But before we get into it, let's hear from our amazing cast here, if we could. Starting off with Huddy, then Goose, then Bearded, if you could please.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey! That's all I got.
Good old Fonz.
Is that your intro now? You're going to do the font? I like it.
All right.
You better start wearing a leather jacket.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome myself. My name is Huddy GTV. Thank you for allowing me to be the guest on this Fault panel. I'm going to pass it over to Bearded Wolverine. Take it next.
Nice.
It's not going to Bearded. You were awesome. Sorry, man. I'm your wonder. I'm going to Bearded.
I fucking can't. This is all out of whack. Yo. Oh my god. I fucking can't with y'all. By the way, Huddy, you've been practicing that for way too long. That came out way too well.
Welcome, everybody. I'm the Bearded Wolverine, your Michigan wonder and fall partner. Excited to keep doing these shows.
Negative. Mangoose is our Michigan wonder. I don't want to hear it. Negative. You've been demoted.
Demoted.
We need to get him a hat.
All right.
Not even the tip of the cost into Michigan.
What? Yo, and Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
This is what I deal with, Brad. Like, they can't control themselves. I'm telling you, they really can't.
Stop just short, so only my nose cross over into the state.
Anyway. Oh my god. Anyway. What's up, guys? I'm WinduTheMace, aka Windu. Welcome to this week's episode. As you can see, we're a bunch of energetic individuals here, or whatever the fuck you want to call us, right? But no, like, let's just get right into it, bro. I'm gonna ask Huddy a question. Being our guest and all. I'm gonna ask you a question. I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. And then we'll just kind of dive into that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
It was a question. He said, all right. First thing you know,
right.
Yes.
So do you, Huddy, think that Strange Matter has what it takes as a company to be able to make the necessary moves to go free to play before the end of the year?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was right. He got it right.
It was, yes. So now hold on. Why do you think that?
If you asked me in November, I would have said no. I think the last 3 or 4 patches have been huge strides in the right direction. I feel that the game was like, it took so early access or first release all the way up until, and then it hit like a dud for like a good 6 to 8 months where nothing changed really, right? And then the December patch hit, and then they dropped another quick fix, and then the 2 in January/February. I feel that the game took a lot of strides in the right direction, and they're showing a lot of promise again. Personally.
So you think?
I think.
No, go ahead, guys.
Jump in here. I think there was one thing missing from the formula for them to go free to play, because they need to be able to make money to sustain. I don't think they had a way of making money before. They have that now. The Astro Gideon skin, people will buy that. The Golden Age Decker, people will buy that. They haven't had skins before that were worth spending real money on. That I believe. I would spend real money on the Golden Age Decker. I would spend real money on Astro Gideon.
No, I 100% agree. You look at the Bone Collector Chimera, which is one of the first ones they came out with as their own, and then you have Cyber Quang, which or as Quang would say, it's not. They're nice skins to have, but it's not anything like I'm gonna pull out my wallet for, because I gotta have it. If I won it in a giveaway or something, cool, great, I'll wear it once in a while, but it's nothing like, oh my gosh, I gotta have these, but then especially a Gideon, man, you get that Astro Gideon, like you have to get that Astro Gideon skin, like that's a fire skin, and a Decker, man, you look at these Decker skins, that Decker skin, that was nice. So I definitely agree with you in that regards. I just don't know how, if that's their way of making money, which is fine. Can they go free to play and make money off of one skin? I mean, when was Astro Gideon skin brought out? Well, that was December. Was that November? When let's just say it was December, whatever. And then Decker was now in February. Like, can you really make enough money by bringing one skin out for every 2 months?
Not really, but you're going to have to rely on the money that you've already made, that you've already acquired. So that's another factor that needs to come into their decision. They need to sit down, make a plan. How long can we survive if we go free to play and nobody buys a skin? Like, how long can we go with just that?
So Goose, let me ask you the same question that Huddy was asked. Do you think that SMS is able to go free to play here soon?
Yes, 100%. Believe so.
All right, yeah. And Windu, and your opinion?
I'm torn. I really am. So I want them to. I think they easily can. I'm not 100% sure that they should right now, or like let's say like within the next 30 days, for example.
Right. No, I don't think that. I don't think we're that close. I'm going to say yes. I do think we can. Somebody in the Gen chat said that they're not ready to go free to play, and said that free to play, they can't go free to play until they get all of the heroes in the game. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I disagree with that wholeheartly.
Why do you disagree with that?
Because you don't need, they're not Paragon. They're a different game. You don't need to have all that content out. You have over 20 heroes now, right? Isn't there
21? Yep. 21, 20.
I mean, bro, even Paragon, even Paragon had only like half the roster that it ended with when it went free to play.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right. And when you asked the question, you asked if they're ready to go free to play by end of the year. That I say yes. Right now, I say no. I think the next couple months are going to be very telling. And then regarding Bearded talking about the skins every couple months, how do we know how much they don't have in the back burner that they're getting ready to drop when free to play comes out to start injecting money into the business?
No, I agree. And they got to have something, they got to have, holding their cards to the chest. There's got to be something they're ready to unload on the next week. When they go free to play, they have to drop the season pass. That's going to be another way for them to make money, right? So that season pass is going to have some skins involved with it as well. Maybe some heroes involved with it. So you're going to pay for the season pass. So with paying for the season pass, you're making money that way, but that's only going to last so long. And that's only so much content. are you literally gonna have stuff for the season 2 pass? Is that gonna come? Is that literally gonna, let's say a season pass starts in November, that let's say it goes till May, right? Is season 2 gonna start right in June, like right when the other one ended? Are you gonna float right into the next one? Are we gonna just keep that cash flow going that way, or how's that going to work? I mean, that's things that we don't have to be figured out, and we'll have to see as a community how it goes. But I agree with you. I don't think they need all of the heroes in the game. I don't think that is needed at all. But another thing that was said was they need more items in the game. Do you guys think we need more items to be able to go free to play, or can we go free to play with the items we have right now?
I think we need more items. I don't think we need more items to go free to play.
Agree.
Yeah, I think it's kind of silly to sit here and say, hey, they need more items for free to play, or more heroes for free to play, or they need more minion camps for free to play. Yeah, I was about to say, like, we were trying to tell you in the chat. Yeah, I don't fully understand why somebody would sit here and support that mindset. Like, what does that accomplish? Like, how does that get them in any better of a state necessary for free to play? More diversity, maybe, as far as hero picks and stuff, but that's gonna come eventually.
Yeah, it's likely gonna happen.
If a game is good, you'll have a blast literally playing the same 5 heroes versus the same 5 heroes. And then, obviously it's not the case, but I'm saying, like, I don't know. I think that's silly, to say the least.
Devil's advocate a little bit here and go against you guys and support that argument. So, because I think that's a healthy thing to do. Let's look at both sides of this story. So we can look back and say, well, Paragon didn't have like all the roster. Paragon didn't have that many items before they went free to play. But look what happened to Paragon.
Okay.
Maybe Paragon went free to play too early, wasn't able to make that money. You know what I mean? They need to be able to make money to sustain the game. And if they go free to play too early, if they don't have the assets needed to sustain themselves, and I will say once again, I do actually believe that they should go free to play as soon as possible. But let's look at it that way. If they go free to play too early, then what happens? Yeah. We might lose Fault because of that.
So that was the argument that this person put forward. They said but they compared it to the early access release that Fault had, and the bad early access release that they had. Not all of it was Fault's fault, but some of it was. And they feel that if they have not only a bad early access release, and if they have a bad free to play release, then that's like Fault will be dunzos, in that situation. I just don't feel like with the game where it's at, and you look at Steam, and the Steam reviews are what we just looked at it. Huddy just said it was 76% since the last 30 days. We've had positive, that's what we're looking at. That number for Fault is amazing since early access. Like we've always had mixed reviews, it's always been, mixed or even bad reviews. It's, for the fact that it's on the positive side now is great. And that says a lot to what SMS has been doing with these last few patches and what we've been getting. And this last patch that fixed all those, not fix all, that fixed all the bugs that were in the patch, like that is great information. The fact that they're focusing that and they're trying to, iron things out to get things better, to focus on free to play says a lot, and says to me that free to play is closer than what a lot of people are expecting.
I think another thing that's indicative is that they did end that season 0 pass. Mm-hmm. We know that season 1 will be basically full release, and that full release will be free. They've said that from the beginning. Actual full release of the game will be free to play. They
have started to mention a little bit the actual term full release. Like you notice for a little bit there, they kind of shied away from it a little. They didn't necessarily mention it as much. But as of the last update, they're like, hey, we're aiming, like we're trying to make it so the next like big patch is full release. So now the question is, oh no, go ahead. You gonna say
I
something?
was just gonna say, as they get ready to gear up for full release or free to play, however you want to word it, right? I hope that their marketing team or whomever they brought in as a marketing manager sets up a storyboard and starts to build up the hype. And it's not like, hey, where it's March 4th. Hey, March 21st, we're free to play. Hot. I hope it builds up and you have time to talk about it and get it out there and reach out and allow the partners like you guys to start talking about it, to start building hype about it, to get other people involved. And hopefully they're able to do that and get a good marketing push for it. So as it gets closer to it, the hype and everything's building right before the free to play hits, and then the free to play hits, then you get the hype from the free to play kicking in, because you're going to get a big wave of people coming in to try it again. Kicks in, and if they have a good product, hey, it's a win-win-win for them.
Right. You also pointed something out there, which I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, but full release and free to play are not the same thing. We can go free to play and not be a full release game. Now, most likely those two are going to coincide with each other, but you can definitely have a free to play game and not be full release and still be under early access. And we're still trying to iron out some things, and go from there.
That's actually not a bad point, because just like they reduce the entry price, they easily could just reduce that base entry price to 0 and still have their other tiers or whatever. And technically the game would be free to play at the lowest point for anybody that wants to play, and we still technically wouldn't actually be a push towards full release. They could be free.
Yeah.
Paragon did that for a long time, because I used to go to Best Buy, buy the Paragon coins for $30 when they went on sale for the PlayStation 4 version, and get $60 worth of coins, and then turn around and trade it in at GameStop for $25. So, so I used to pay $5 for $60 worth of
just say.
Just saying.
I can't with you, right? Like, what the fuck is that?
They did have that. That would be a great way. The $9 pack is free, and then the other prices, they can either stay the same, or you buy in and you get value for it, right? You get a bunch of coins and heroes immediately. So you can go in, don't have to pay to play it, but if you want the extra stuff and you want the cosmetics, here's $15-$20.
And
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a really good in between.
And you could use that and build up, like an event, or build up hype for free to play. And then once you could build up that hype, or build up, an event for full release. You could, that's 2 events now that you're able to use to build up hype for, if you separate them and not, make them coincide together.
I do think they do need to expand the base model roster before they do something like that, because Muriel being your only support option is kind of.
Oh no, yeah, we talked about that last episode. I agree with you. Yeah. That's definitely something that's got to change as well.
Now, damn, you just kind of rattled my brain on that one, because I do think having free to play first and then working towards full release would probably be a great idea, actually. It's going to give you more testers. It's going to give you more testers, more options to get bugs. Really, and that's just the quick thing that comes to my head. There's obviously more things that'll be beneficial there too. It's your player base is going to get higher, and the higher the player base, the better the players that are actually playing still to this point and complaining about MMR or whatever. The more players playing, the better it is for us. People actually just trying to game and not go against the same people every time. Well, we all know that probably the most agreed upon issue that Fall has is the player base. Like, you could ask every player and they'll tell you, yeah, player base is an issue. Yeah. If free to play fixes that, then they'll be able to actually move forward towards it's like, hey, now that we have the player base, this is what we need to refine in the matchmaking. Or now that we have the player base, let's add an ARAM mode, for example. Yeah. Like you get me?
Rid of the assholes.
Like, oh man.
once you got a big enough player base, there's some really toxic people in Fault that need to go, but it's kind of hard to kick anybody out of Fault because the player base is so small.
For sure.
But it would be real nice if that player base got up there to the point that we could start kicking some of these knuckleheads.
I mean, they all have 7 accounts.
Knucklehead. Toxicity is part of gaming. I'm not saying like if people pay for the game, they can play it the way they want to. If they want to be toxic, that's cool. That's fine. But when it gets to be a problem, when people are like just going in and AFKing just because they don't like you or something, like you're ruining. I paid for the game to play it. Once you're ruining somebody else's experience, like I'm all for you having your own experience, but if you ruin other people's experience enough, then you should be removed from the game.
I think it's important to mention too that the size of the game, and because there's such a small player base, normal toxicity turns into borderline harassment because it's the same toxicity against the same individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they're coming from the same individuals. Like if I go to League of Legends or go to Smite and I play 100 matches, 10 of those matches there's somebody toxic, but it's never the same person. Fuck it, whatever. Like, you know what? It happens. But if it's the same exact person being toxic, almost match after match, it's like, hey man, I'm going back to Gran Turismo. Like, I get it. I get why some people get upset with it. I really do.
Yeah, Belafonte, it does. You'll get more people will thin that out for sure. It's not gonna be as big of a deal. It's gonna be thinner for sure. But going off of what Goose said, you have, think of it, if we all paid money for a ticket to go watch a movie. Everybody paid for the ticket, right? They're all in there, but you have one person that's just being loud and riling and whatever, and trying to ruin that movie experience for everybody in the movie theater. That person, even though they paid for that ticket, they will be removed.
Yeah, bro, I was about to say,
in that situation.
Fuck the fact that they paid for money. Get them the fuck out of the movie. Fuck that.
It's the same situation here. Like, yeah, just because they paid to play the game, it's the same as paying for a movie ticket. If you ruin that experience for everybody else, you need to be gone.
But if it's something that you can mute and correct yourself, I think that I really don't care. Like if I can mute that person and not listen to them, I'm fine with it. It's when people do shit like intentionally feeding or AFKing or something like that just because they don't like you. That's when it starts to ruin my experience. Otherwise, I could just mute them.
Right. Well, I mean, like, what about we were gaming the other day? What was that, Tuesday that we were gaming? I think it was Tuesday we were gaming. We had somebody, that literally was intentionally attacking me, like literally put on stealth tech and was hiding by inhib, was not helping their team at all.
No.
In any situation. So they're that person's ruining the experience for their team. Because they're trying to get team objectives, they're trying to get towers, they're trying to do, but that person's literally just sitting at inhib, waiting for me to spawn or back or whatever. And so when I come out, they can attack me and then run in jungle. Like that's ruining it. Like it didn't affect me to the point though where I was like, it got annoying, but it wasn't like, okay, but we were still doing fine in the game. Like we as a team were doing okay. We were like, all right, it is whatever. But the other team's like, what the hell? We were leading and now all of a sudden we can't do anything because it's a 4v5 technically. That person, that's a situation that needs to be taken care of.
I feel like that's probably one of the hardest things to ever report and actually get results. Intentionally griefing, because they could literally sit there and argue and be like, what do you mean? I was trying to kill their carry. Yeah, I'm doing my job. That like shit's like that's rough to actually discipline, if it even deems discipline, because it is weird to do shit like that. But like, for example, let's say if you're Murdock, right? And you absolutely know that the enemy jungler, the enemy Kalari, is behind, and you shit on her every example you get, right? As soon as you grab gold buff, you're like, you know what? I could fuck her up. Everybody's gone. I'm going to go into that. I see her. I'm going to go into that red jungle and fuck up this Kalari because I know she's there. And you just constantly keep fucking her up all game. Like you're hunting her. Like, you feel me? And regardless, you weren't there helping the team, but you're taking out a player, so that technically is helping. How do you discipline that? Like, what do you do?
You shouldn't discipline that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be near impossible unless somebody's actually just intentionally feeding or AFK.
Okay.
It's just rough.
We're misunderstanding the situation that Bearded is talking about. This person wasn't having any kind of effect negatively on our team by stealth teching and attacking Bearded every time he left. They were just getting themselves killed repeatedly. Like, it wasn't like they were taking advantage of Bearded being in the jungle.
And even if they weren't, there was times that they would get away. They literally would, hit me a couple times and then use that little, what is it? Their E, Morgash's E.
She was using T-Og, baby.
Yeah, and also had T-Og, so then they would take off. It's okay, fine. I wasn't going to chase her to the jungle.
Was that the one Mori that went up against us and Deuce was proud of her? He's like, look at her with T-Og. I fucking can't.
So that's, but like that person is not helping their team and is ruining that game. However long that game, let's say it lasted 45 minutes. 4 other players on that team is having a bad experience because that Mori just wanted to troll me. That's something that needs to be taken care of.
Replay system when Strange matters. Actually, do you guys think replay system should be here before free to play or before full release? Either or?
Just as soon as fucking possible in my case.
As a content creator, yeah, free to play would be great, but like I don't think it's needed. I don't think it's something like, oh my gosh, we got to have this before we hit either one of those milestones.
I think that's just an added bonus.
It's
right? I don't think it's anything that's going to make or break the game. The game comes out and it's flawed, but as a replay system, that's not going to make people stay longer. I don't think, at least. I could be wrong. It's too easy to record and have stuff live now.
I mean,
Dietrich has a good point though. Get it out before free to play so you can get the bugs out of it.
Yeah.
Get a bigger player base, more testers, more reports.
A lot of people use that replay functionality. Like, in a lot of games for a reason. People enjoy going back and going over their own gameplay or reliving moments that were really cool, or making clips and whatnot. So, yep.
I can imagine it'd also be huge for the moderation team, like actually be able to look back. Like, for example, they have a record of the match, they have a record of the text, but being able to, like, if I say, hey, Bearded Wolverine was intentionally cheating, kept dying over and over, what am I going to look at? Well, I see he died at 2 minutes. I see he died at 5 minutes. I see he died at 7 minutes. I see he died at 10. And it's like, that seems normal in a game. You know what I mean? Like,
Wolverine is normal no matter what.
Like, no, I'm saying like, wouldn't it be much easier for them to actually have the replay, go back and literally just watch it for a second and be like, oh yeah, they're fucking griefing their asses off.
Yeah,
let me handle this.
But I mean, the thing is that you can easily see somebody running it down or whatever, just running into a team fight, not even really doing much or whatever. Or somebody that's like literally sitting there fighting, and they end up dying. It's like, okay, like they didn't go down without a fight in a situation. You see that, it's like
there's two things that you're not considering with that, just about like with the griefing and stuff. One, you're assuming that they're going to have the manpower to have someone who's going to have the time to go in and actually watch to see if there's actual griefing. Two is the storage of all those replays. That's a lot of data that they got to store for all those matches going down and all those point of views. Those aren't small files, and that's a lot of data and stuff that they got to pay for to store and have people download it out of the data centers, and you pay for. That's two things that.
Here's the storm. It's stored on your own. You store it yourself. If you want to have
like the last 10 matches or whatever.
However many you want.
Yeah, have it stored on the client side. Yeah, you can do that then. But then you'd have to then you can send it in with a grief report if they have that system set up.
Yep.
That'd be interesting. He said, I like the way you think.
Philip says, maybe educate the community on how to report better.
Well, I think one of the issues is the fact that the reporting system right now is not the best that it could be, probably because of the lack of manpower that Goose just brought up. Like the fact that
I know the reportings they had before, it got like it basically they were just going through reports that were just stupid reports. Like they were the people just in a sense trolling, you know, like, hey, them report this, and it's like it wasn't. You go back and you look at it, it's like that's nothing. So they're wasting a lot of time with those reports, and so that's why they kind of how they changed their reporting system.
I mean, being somebody that saw some of those reports back then, like I get it. It's really rough to sometimes have like a horrible report, or people that report for no reason. Like the moment somebody dies the first time in lane, like somebody died less than 3 minutes, immediately gets reported. They're feeding. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just don't think there's a workaround around it. You know, like you could try and have it as automated as possible, but the best result would be to have somebody just doing it. Right? Am I wrong there?
I mean, it's gonna follow the same probably procedure as any other game. Is it takes so many reports before anybody actually looks at it. Like you report somebody once, probably not going to do anything. But if several people report that person over and over again, which the most egregious offenders will do it over and over again, that's when it stacks up, and that's when you take a look at it.
You know, it'd be interesting to know.
Look at every single fucking report.
Do you guys have any idea?
Yeah.
What the steps are? I can't remember. Do you have any idea what the steps are? Like the moment somebody gets reported, like it's like, hey, like after this many reports, this is the first action. I don't know, text ban or fucking timeout for 5 minutes. Who knows, right?
The problem is, I think it depends on the report. I think text ban. Like it's got to be something they did something with text wise for them to get banned, and for text, for text ban, for them to get if they were AFK, whatever, then so they're banned for 24 hours, whatever. I don't know. Like it's got to be something to you're not, if you're AFK, you're not going to get a text ban. So it all depends on the situation, what's going on and how egregious the thing is, and how many times was this person reported for this? Like maybe he did it all 8 games he played that day, and times that by 4, that's 32 people reported him all at once. It's like bam, like what the hell's going on? Well, this person's really trolling today. All right, that that's going to be something that's going to warrant more than somebody who got 4 reports for something.
Eternal in the chat's asking, are there IP bans in Fault? There are not. No. Not currently, at least. And I don't know. That's always been a controversial subject in games.
I don't want IP bans because I'm not that person. I don't have anybody else playing, on my, with my IP. But maybe someday I will be. My son, he's only 5 right now, but he's a gamer. He loves playing the PS4. So if my son, grows up to be a stupid troll, and because I didn't discipline him enough, and he gets IP banned, now all of a sudden I can't play the game, I'm going to be pissed.
Consequences have, our actions have consequences. Whoop his ass. Teach him.
Right. No, yeah, that's not going to happen. Believe me, he get his ass beat. But, no, like, I mean, it's like, I don't think that's right, or I grew up with a brother. We both game, right? My brother can be a hothead. That's not why do I get, punished for something he did? It's not right. So.
Yeah, but there's also, how often is that the case?
It's not often at all. I get it, but that's still not, there's got to be something else that can happen.
They can always do MAC address bans too, but I mean, there's always, even an IP ban. All you have to do is get a whatchamacallit?
VPN.
VPN.
Yeah.
I mean, Eternal brings up a good point. There's got to be a point of diminishing returns, right? Like it's like, okay, so unfortunately, everybody in that household can't play. But is the overall long-term effect on on the game better. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, I don't know. I've never really been too crazy on them, even though I understand them, right? Like I know there's a lot of games that do IP bans for like cheaters and hackers, for example. I could see that because at that point, you know that at least the hardware or the hack or whatever the hell it was, right, is typically on their PC. It's not necessarily an account. They can log into a different account and try and hack a game or whatever again. So I'm a little bit more understanding for IP bans for hackers or stuff like that. But for toxicity, like, yo, for somebody to get an IP ban for toxicity, you gotta be somebody special, bro.
You're trying.
Like, yo, yeah, like
You're trying.
You're on a fucking mission, my dude. Like, yeah, oh my God. I mean, are they even necessary? Would they help? I don't think so. TBH. I'd love to hear from Chad and you guys, but
Well, Belafonte says, I feel like wasting time on time and manpower on toxic players is dumb. They're a bigger fish to fry this game for this game to survive.
I think, again, it comes down to what you classify as toxicity. Like, just being an ass in chat, yeah, that's toxic, I guess, but that's not really a big deal. Like, actually going out of your way to ruin other people's game, you know, that's going to cause people to leave. And then there's another level of it where people will target particular streamers and try to make their life hell and try to ruin their experience as a streamer through the toxicity. And that sort of thing shuts down a streamer, removes them from the pool, and then you have less advertisement. So,
yep.
well, I mean,
just being a dick in chat, not that bad. They don't need to devote manpower to that. Mm-hmm. But monitoring people that are like with extremely malicious intent, yeah, that needs to get shut down.
I just want to say something that I think you agree with me, Goose. When you're saying being an a-hole in chat or whatever, but not being a racist, not threatening people or bodily harm or anything like that, you just mean, what the hell, why didn't you fucking gank? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, good job, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we have no offlaner.
Yeah. or like Goose and I playing, and a guy pinged good job. So many times that I muted him. Still 5 minutes later, I'm still getting good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job.
Yeah, that's just being a dick. That's yeah.
Yeah, they really got to
talk about like
they really got to limit pings on somebody. Like, I'm just gonna throw that one out there because that shit is annoying.
Anyways.
Like, I feel like muting them, I don't want to hear that ping either. Let it show up on the side of my screen. Whatever. But that ping, 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 get that the fuck out of here, bro.
What? So Belafonte says hate speech should be a focus if we're talking toxic. And I agree that's definitely something that should not be allowed. We should work on that. But before, when Fault first came out with early access, if you typed in a certain word, you would get stars. Right.
I remember Jester had that. Yeah.
It would bleep it out. But there was a certain point, I don't know what patch it was, but there was a certain point that now all of a sudden everything, you can type anything and it comes up. Why are we not censoring certain things? I mean, I don't want to say, though. I'm not saying that I'm for
it's very imperfect
in regards of that, right? But like, there's certain things that you just don't need. Like, certain words just don't need to be put out there.
But like you couldn't type assist because it had ass in it.
Yeah.
Right? Or the word about. The word about was definitely the one that threw me off.
Hey, you want to try to type something? Try to go on Roblox and type something. Good luck.
Of course you would bring up Roblox, right?
Like, if you have to get me to try to go on Roblox, that's the hardest part about it, not typing something on there.
But no, man, I want to kind of circle back to a point that Goose brought up earlier. Monetizing, having the ability to, or having the brickwork laid out, the foundation in order to monetize, right? Like they've already tested season pass.
Yep.
Well, he brought up an interesting point. So the new Decker skin, whatever continent she's from, I think it's Aztec, right? I can't tell. That skin's dope.
Yep.
The Astro Gideon skin is dope. The Chimera Bone Collector, it's cool, but it doesn't stand out. You know what I mean? Like nothing too crazy.
It's an alright skin.
Yeah, but it's cool. The Cyber Quang, cool concept. Maybe, you know, in my opinion, lacked a little bit in execution. Should have made him a Jedi instead. Changed my mind. But at the end of the day, they need that arsenal to be stacked for a full release, at least, right? Not necessarily free to play, because they can do free to play, keep throwing us a skin every couple months or whatever, and then eventually do a full release.
Right.
Okay, let's combine these two topics like this. Let's have a swear jar. Like you pay
Okay, Captain Planet.
amount to be able to curse so many times in game. After that, it gets bleeped out.
You pay what the?
Like you have to pay 10 coins for 100 swear words. After that, you're done. I would be buying coins like a motherfucker.
I already have a thing. That way I can say what the and be fine. I paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah, just be joking, but yeah.
No. Go ahead.
I don't know. I didn't have anything follow up.
All right.
He's done.
No, I think they I agree with what you're saying there, Windu. Something they need to have something for us, you know, for if we're just going free to play, you know, here you go, here's this and that, but they got to have something ready for that full release. But I think they're doing great. Like I just love seeing like we would literally take the 4 skins you just talked about, and I love seeing the difference between the two. Yeah, I don't disagree with you guys. I do think Bone Collector and Cyber Quang are definitely good skins, but they're not on the same level as Astro Gideon and Decker. And to me, that says a lot about the team and how well we're doing with the skin, you know, creation team and actually putting it in the game, like how well they're doing. I think it says a lot. The improvement that we've seen from the beginning till now is crazy, and this team's just going to keep getting better. So, you know, and it's been what? How long? 2 years? 2 years now? It's been 2 years. So let's go 2 years again. And where we're going to be? What's the skin we're going to get, you know, 2 years from now? Like, I'm excited to see the growth of it.
And then Belafonte brings something up too that I hadn't actually thought of until we had this conversation about full release being just the base model being free to play, but all the other models being paid for. Is at that point you're selling access to heroes, which is something that I think is very common in every MOBA and would not be looked down upon. Maybe it'll be looked down upon by para refugees because they were used to all the heroes being free for Paragon. But again, Paragon didn't survive because they couldn't make the money that Tencent wanted them to make. I don't say Epic, I say Tencent.
Be careful with that too, because Paragon was making money. Paragon was successful.
Yes.
The problem, and I say this in quotations, the problem was they had a game making, you know, a couple million a year. Then all of a sudden they had a game made $450 million in the first 3 months. They're like, wait a minute. It's like business, right?
but they had announced that Paragon needs to start making more money or they're going to cancel it. They announced that months before Fortnite Battle Royale was ever a thing.
Yeah, and that's when you started seeing all the changes. You know, they were trying to everything changed with the loot boxes and stuff like that. They basically tried to incentivize people to pay more things, and then that's when, you know, it just started falling downhill real quick.
And again, it's not that it wasn't making money; it was making some money, just not enough to appease investors.
Yeah,
which is
not enough to
strike in the column of both Overprime and Predecessors that they have to appease investors. Fall just has to appease the community. They're selling their product directly to the community, whereas predecessors, they've already sold their product to investors. Then the community has to, on the back end, make up for that money that they've gotten by investing into predecessor.
Does SMS not have any investors or public investors that they announced or anything?
Nope. They're 100%
all community funded.
Community funded.
Like as far as Indiegogo and Steam, that's all they've got. And
I don't think good or bad. I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna know if it's good or bad until. Actually, I don't know if we'll ever know if it's good or bad. Let's say 5 years from now, SMS closes up shop, falls done, right? Whatever. Is that because they were community funded and they didn't have investors, or is it just something they did? Was it decisions they made that that led them to that point? Could they have made different decisions and stayed community funded and made it? I don't think we'll ever know that answer in that situation. But the only way you can have an answer, somewhat of an answer to that, is if we go 15 years from now and we're at League of Legends status, and we're still going, and they went community funded the whole way. Then it's like they made a great decision. It's one of those things. Like, well, if I would have, hindsight's always going to be 20/20 in that regard.
Yeah, it's just I feel like they specifically want to stay community funded because nobody can shut them down. You know what I mean? They can have a rough patch. They can have a year where they lose money, a year where they break even, and they can still say, "Hey, we're still going to keep going." You know what I mean?
But there's a flip side to that, in that like Overprime can afford the artists to churn out incredible skins.
Right. Definitely the slower route.
Predecessors can afford the programmers to churn out a very smooth and very, well-made game. Not saying the Fault's not well-made and blah, 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 but like Predecessor just feels better to me. It just always has. Fault, there's just something not there, but it's still a great game. That might be because of all of that. But at end of the day, it's all about longevity and sustainability, and Fault may have the better plan for that.
Right.
And they'll eventually get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I think that's something that I've always said it from the beginning, even before I really started really conversating with you, Mangoose. I've always said it from the beginning. Predecessor focused at having a very smooth and beautiful looking game. Fault focused on having a MOBA. Like how the game operates, it's not going to be smooth and beautiful looking, but we're literally going to have everything we want as subject. Like it literally is going to operate like a MOBA. It might look like fucking Roblox, but it's going to be a MOBA. And that's what it was. And then they started working on making things look better, making things feel better, and we're getting there. It's happening. It's just not there yet. And I agree with you. There is that something missing that I'm not feeling when I feel it when I play a Predecessor. But it's definitely from patch 12 to patch to now. It feels tons better in comparison.
Yeah.
Like what we were playing to what we're playing now is definitely different, but it's still not quite there. But they are making those changes to get there.
I think the big thing is optimization. They've come a long way with optimization over the last couple patches. I think that's a big feel. Consistent frames is a big thing that people don't realize. When your frames start dropping, you feel it without seeing it. So it's that's something that they've been working on a lot. I mean, I said it before, and I still say I honestly and truly do believe whoever hits console first will be the one that makes the most money and lasts the longest.
Maybe because we gotta remember too, with the Fault's method of staying crowdfunded, they're almost certainly going to be the slowest to produce content. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like as far as rate of speed, like as far as how many skins they can throw out, finishing a PC game and then going to console, etc. Having the smallest team, being crowdfunded, because crowdfunded doesn't necessarily mean they have the least amount of money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is worth mentioning that crowdfunded does not mean they have the least amount of money, because who knows? Netmarble, like for example, Predecessor, we know got $2 million from investors. It's very possible that Netmarble looked at Overprime and said, "Hey, you guys got 6 months and $1.5 million. Make it work." Like, you never know when what budget bigger companies are going to give a studio. You never know how much more investment Predecessor might be able to get, right? You never know how much more crowdfunding we might be able to get. Unfortunately, most of those numbers are not known to the majority of us. But
right.
I think it is important to distinguish to being homegrown, so to speak, doesn't mean that they have the least amount of money. But what we can talk about is the size of their studio. Because we've seen that they've hired a couple people here and there in the past. When's the last time that you heard about somebody joining the team that wasn't already involved with the team? And I say that because, you know, like Armadillon becoming a dev and stuff, shout out to him. But
right.
Actually hiring somebody externally into the team. When's the last time we heard about that?
Well, that person's been let go since then. So,
and that was a while ago. That was like March of last year, I think, something like that. March, April, some shit.
Yeah, I don't know the time frame. But it's been a while. It has been a while. I know that they've made posts that they're looking for a marketing manager or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the last was the audio guy, right? The new audio guy that they brought on. That was the last one that I remember. They brought in
that guy.
No, they got rid of that guy.
Yeah, because he fucked up a lot of shit.
But they added another guy, right?
Oh.
Well, no, Espada was already a part of the team, and Espada was helping.
He just took over.
They had 2 map guys going at it, and then that guy got let go, and Espada just kept pushing forward with what he was doing.
So, you know what I'm actually curious about? Because, you know, they have on their webpage, like, hey, marketing manager, level artist, UI programmer, gameplay programmer. I know it makes sense to try and get somebody that has passion towards the game. You know, maybe like there might be a level artist that kind of likes the game and is like, yo, I'm going to hit him up or whatever. But I feel like they easily, like, hell, they could have gone on Indeed or some shit like that and found like 1,000 different marketing managers with video game experience, you know, applying for the job, and then just filter through those.
I don't think they have the budget to be competitive in that market.
What do you mean? What do you mean by?
I don't think they can pay people what they're worth as far as what another company would pay them.
A marketing manager is going to make over $100,000 a year. He's going to in US dollars, between 80 and 150 grand a year, depending on his book of business. Unless you're going to a big company. So that's tough for a small company.
Okay. And I mean, with smaller companies, it's pretty normal to, like, you know, give them like percentage shares or something like that to try and incentivize, like, hey, you're here early. Here's a couple % for you on top of what we can afford to pay you. Hopefully it pays out and, you know, like crazy later on. Go ahead. My
experience with companies their size, what they end up doing is they're hiring firms to do it for them. And they'll set it up. So they'll go to Goose Media Incorporated out of Chicago and say, hey, look, this is what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. Put together a marketing campaign and give me a budget. Here you go. And then they're going to charge 30%, 30 to 45%. So if they give them $100,000, 30 to 40,000 of that, it's going to go back to the marketing firm.
Goose Media Inc. Get me in.
Goose Media Inc. Right. Write that on your notepad, Goose. We got to talk after this. Write that down. Stunt said, "Hold my beard productions."
I got it, bearded. I got it. Hold my beard. That's funny.
Anyway, go ahead and continue.
Company their size does a lot of.
Right.
Or you can get someone who wants to do it moonlighting and, like Windu said, has passion for the game.
Yeah. So I like that I like it. I don't know if I were them, if I would do this, but putting the date where the job posting went up on their website, right? So December 21st, 2021, they've been looking for a marketing manager. Since that day, since June 5th, 2021, they've been looking for a level artist. Since June 5th, also a UI programmer. And then they've been looking for gameplay programmers since January 2021 for over a year. So I think what Goose mentioned might actually be the reason maybe why they're struggling to find some people. Because I know, like I have a buddy, for example. I try to get him hooked up with Strange Matters, right? Like he's talented. He can do character modeling easily comparable to Paragon or better, right? Went to school with me over at Full Sail. Legit, after hearing his prices, I was like, yo, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I don't know if they can afford you, but, I'll pass your shit over. But that's a good point. It's honestly not easy to employ programmers and shit like that. What do you mean?
Especially right now, it's all over the news. They're calling it the great resignation. There's more people walking away from their jobs, and the average pay for people are getting buku money to stay where they are because people are just walking away. There's such
and switching jobs and shit.
Skilled trades, skilled people. There's such a high demand that people are making crazy money right now. Which is good.
What can I do to do this? I'm in a skilled trade. I'm not making crazy money. What do I do?
Hey, listen, freaking tool makers in my dad's shop are making freaking $40,000 more a year than they were 4 or 5 years ago now. Freaking their pay doubled. We just can't get people anymore, man. It's nuts.
Damn. So I'll be real with you. As somebody that doesn't deal with hiring, I mean, shit, I guess I could ask my girl. She's a HR hiring specialist for like the past 15 years or whatever the fuck. But
that means she's like 8. Stop.
What do you mean?
We all know like 22 years old. Stop.
Hey, man, I appreciate the compliment. Anyway, but nah, bro, like, do you guys think it's actually that difficult to find somebody? Because I know sometimes churning and burning happens, right? Like sometimes you hire somebody, they don't work out, on to the next one, right? Like that happens. Like with the incident with the map guy. Oops, you know, live and learn. Vet them a little bit better, etc. Right? Make them, test them harder. I don't know, whatever it may be. But that shouldn't stop them from consistently trying to get people in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, my question is how hard are they trying to find this person? Are they just putting listing out there because they could use it, but it's not like, oh my God, we need this position? Or are they, you know, like, are they posting it just so it looks good? Because, hey, if it looks like they're hiring, then they know that looks like growth. You know, like what are the things for this?
I guess that would depend on where all this is posted. Is it posted only on their website, where only Fault fans are the ones that go the traffic through there? Yeah, then they're probably not trying too hard, right? But if this is just one of their outlets, maybe they, you know, what if they are on Indeed, or what if they are on other outlets for, you know, for looking for jobs and shit like that? Like that makes it seem like, hey, we're trying. It's just not as easy. I guess it's just one of those things that we wouldn't necessarily know because of the lack of details. It's just the fact that we see they have a gameplay programmer position that's been available for over a year and it hasn't been filled.
Eternal brings up a great point. Like if they really needed that position filled, then the company would have gone under a long time ago, because you're not going to survive for a year with a position that needs to be filled, not being filled. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've been in plenty of companies. They go through that route. They're just always hiring, looking. And you don't want to just hire just anyone either.
Yeah, it's like a rest. He said they hired you. He's like, yikes. Oh my God. No, I was gonna say, like, that's like a restaurant. They need an extra server. Can they manage without? Yeah. Would an extra server be nice? Yeah. Does that mean the next server is gonna work out? No.
Right.
But instead of hoping that they find the right server They're just gonna be like, hey, we're gonna give you a shot. 2 days later, hey man, get this kid the fuck out of here. He doesn't know. This kid doesn't know the difference between romaine salad and something else, right? Like, get him the fuck out. So I understand wanting to find the right person. I just really think more hands on deck might be better than a smaller team, you know? Like, hell, give them some other side project to work on. Like for example, if there's a bug, if you guys have a list of 10 bugs that you know what's causing these 10 bugs, right? And let's say, for example, you got one person going through and just fixing all 10 of those, just slowly in the coding and whatever. Another hand could literally just cut the workload. Double, like, you literally churn and burn, get it going. And even if they're not as good as the main programmer, for example, okay, they took care of 2 or 3, let the other person handle the rest. Like, any workload that gets alleviated means moving on forward towards something else, right? Is that mindset wrong?
Yeah, well, Stunt brought it up. I was kind of thinking that at the same time. Or they fuck it up twice as much. Yeah. Like, so that could also create.
We just had 2 map guys.
Do you remember
the one map guy? Instead of doing what you were saying, it happened to be exactly what Stunt's saying. It actually hurt us and it set us back.
Well, but hold on. I think it also should be mentioned that quality assurance is a thing, right? Like, if there's a server, for example, fucking shit up, there should be a manager nearby checking on that server and be like, hey, you go the fuck home. You're fucking shit up, right? Like, if that server goes unmonitored for like a month or 2, and then at the end they're like, yo, nobody's been checking on this guy? What the fuck happened? Like, this shit didn't happen overnight. Like, nobody looked at this guy. Nobody verified what he was doing. Like, that's a different story. Like, it's okay if they hire somebody and they start making the wrong steps and then immediately like, all right, nope, sorry, it's not working. Thank you.
Yeah, but the quality assurance, when the quality assurance comes in, we're not. Let's keep using your example of a waiter in a fucking restaurant. What if the person that is supposed to be overseeing them has zero idea what a waiter is supposed to be doing? Like, they have no clue. It's hard to tell when they're messing up.
That's rough.
When you know they messed up is when the customer reacts. But a lot of times the customer doesn't react. You know what I mean? So there's that.
Molo says it's not how a small company works. You need trust. You know, which is in regards, like,
but trust and verify. I get what he's saying, but you can trust your workers and still verify their work. Like, you feel me? Like, you can have a small company and be like, hey, let's use, since I'm so used to the restaurant business and whatnot, let's say you could trust one of your line cooks, but there's still a head cook that checks the order before it goes out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, there's a chain of command for a reason. You feel me? Like, there's always somebody that's in charge of your actions, like, responsible for your actions. And it's their job to keep it in line. But Goose brings up an interesting point. What if there isn't somebody with enough experience to be able to kind of put it into play? What if
you're hiring very specialized positions? It's like hiring a welder for your business when you have no idea how to weld anything. You're trying to do quality sure. Like, you look at their weld and they're like, the beads look good. Sure, why not? I have no idea how to weld. And then that shit fucking breaks. That's when you know that guy can't weld, is when this shit breaks. Not before.
You know what a good bead looks like.
I know what a good bead looks like. Like the ones I put up your ass.
I can't with you. He actually paused, thought about it, executed that line, and then keep going. Get me the fuck out.
I thought about whether I should say it or not, and then I said, fuck it. I'm going to talk about
Jesus Christ.
Bearded's anal beads. So,
oh my God, get me out.
My ear.
This is what I do.
No, and that's exactly the point. Like you have like, let's stick with SMS here, right? Like we know Jester's there or Frost, right? But that doesn't mean they know how to make a map, you know? So how are they supposed to be, you know, monitoring the map guy, you know? Like, how do they know like what's going on, you know? And then until it's already too far down the line, it's like, wait a minute, this is fucked up, you know? And then here we are. Like, it's a tough situation.
Well, hold on. Let me counter argue here. Devil's advocate, right? So let's say I don't know about welding in Goose's example, right? I can still come back and check, right? That doesn't mean I know, but that doesn't mean I can stay ignorant. I could look up a bit, educate myself a little bit, and at the end of the day, just periodically check in on the guy. It's not the same as see you when you're done, bud. And then at the very end, be like, hello? Because in the map example, I find it very, very hard to believe, and it might be possible, but I find like if I were running the company and somebody's working on a map for me, I would find it very hard to believe that nobody tested that map for X amount of time until they realize all the shit at the end. You get me? I think you're muted, Huddy. I see you nodding and talking. I don't know if you're talking to us.
I was drinking.
Oh no, you're good. But like in that example, I really find it difficult to just wrap it around my head, the fact that if there was somebody messing up, they messed up for X amount of time and nobody realized until the end. Like, we all know you can go into a map and play it when it's literally grayscale, even without assets. You get me? Mm-hmm. So after an update, like you could literally be like, hey, end of the month update. We're going to go in, check it out. Let's check the progress. Bro, these frames are horrible. What the fuck is happening? I don't need to know about maps to understand what's happening here. Like, whatever it is, it's your job to figure it out. Fix it or you're out. You know? Like, I don't need to be a pro map maker to literally go in, evaluate the work, and then make an educated decision from there.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm being a little too harsh, by the way. That's just how I feel on that. Nah, I don't think I'm too harsh.
I mean, the thing is with an engine and with the coding, I don't know. It's tough to double check everything. And there comes to a point where you have to trust a guy to do his job and get it done, right? And get it done right and get it done well. But I mean, if you're going back and you're double checking and triple checking everything, now you're getting to a bigger company status with a bigger hierarchy, and you don't have a company with only 10 people working on it, right? I mean, it's tough because what a lot of people don't realize, you're not sitting in an office. They're not sitting in an office up in Canada all working side by side next to each other.
They're not in the same
They're working
studio.
on separate computers, uploading it to a server, and everything is getting done via that way from 3 different countries or multiple different countries and multiple different time zones. It's so that's another big thing, because like Windu, if they were in an office and they're working with each other, then I would say, yeah, then you can come in and check in on them, like, hey, show me what's going on over here more. Because these massive files, and I know one of the guys when I used to work with him, he would go to bed when it was time for him to upload stuff for his work.
Eternal saying in the chat, I've used Unreal as an IT. And I've integrated source control. You can see every single change and item movement from every person working on it. Yeah, I can imagine there's logs of things that get done and stuff like that, right? But here's the thing. I'm okay. Like, it's not like micromanage somebody, like be on them every hour of the day and be like, yo, what are you doing? Why did you do this? Etc. But every successful company does have deadlines, does have basically what do we want to call these? Call this like a weekly quota of work at least, like some like or like milestones. Like if Bearded's working for me and we know what our end goal is, I can tell him like, hey, by the end of February, this is at least what I'm expecting. You're right, communicate with me throughout the line, etc. If we can't make it, one not, whatever, we'll work on bridges as we actually get to them. But this is what I'm expecting by the end of February. This is what I'm expecting by the end of March. We'll meet periodically, assess, hey, what do you need from me? Are you good? Are you falling behind? What's happening? That's what being a good leader is. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I don't need to know what Bearded's job is. I just need to make sure that he's doing his job right.
Exactly. But let's just keep using what we're talking about. You know, so in the chat, we're talking about how you see that, right? So you see that I added a tree in solo lane. You see that I added trees in mid lane. You see that I added trees in. All right, hey, Bearded's got all the trees added because that's one all right, we're good, right? But you don't, and then like what Molo says here, unless you know what those things are and the details are and the changes, the code changes, and all that information, all you see is trees are added. But you don't understand that I added those trees, and the way that I added them is just going to fuck up optimization. But you saw that I got my job done. You look at it, like, oh, yep, okay, sweet. The map guys do what the map guy's supposed to be doing. We're good.
Well, what if I check on you by the end of the week and I say, how are the trees coming? They're all in?
They're in the lane?
Cool. How do they look?
Starting.
How's the performance on them? How's the optimization on it? Because we're always got to think about optimization with everything that we add. You know?
I think that's starting to happen. I think that's why the patches have been much better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The first, I'll say the first year, they were pumping out patches, and when I was a tester, we were testing shit 2 hours before the patch was supposed to hit. like we're like, fuck, download it, let's go, and like, you know what I mean? I'm not a tester anymore, and I haven't been involved in over a year, but it's maybe that's why the con is slowed down a little bit, but
it's been more consistent.
It's been more consistent. It's like, Goose, when was it, Monday night or Tuesday night we were playing? It was like, hey, and I was like, it feels like SMS takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you're like, no, you said they take 3 forward and 1 back. It seems like there's not as much backpedaling anymore. They're not releasing a game where it looks like you're playing through an orange peel.
They're making more positive steps than they are negative.
Yeah, sure. And that could be what's happening. It's a very, I'm going to say this respectfully, it's a very young team of people who are very passionate about a game that came together and started building a company and pumped out a game in record time. And I think we're seeing how long it takes to build these games, because Overprime just announced that they pushed it back, and Predecessor has been behind a closed curtain for 1.5 years now. They came out last July and said, hey, we're going to do a back end test, and then it couldn't run at all. Like I tried for 2 weekends. August? Okay, so 6 months ago. Sorry. And then we haven't heard a thing since.
Yeah, we've seen them mature as a company, and we've seen the fruits of that. We've seen them steadily improve overall in both in their marketing, in their development of the actual game, everything. They've been constantly improving, and that's reflected. We're going to bring it all the way back around, baby. That's reflected in these mostly positive Steam reviews that they're getting now, as opposed to the mix that they were getting before.
Yep.
They're improving as a company, and therefore their product is improving.
Thank you, and good night.
No, I 100% agree, and that's kind of why I brought this conversation up in this situation, because like there was, like I said, there was a person in Gen Chat saying that this game is nowhere close. Literally, I'm paraphrasing, but almost verbatim saying SMS is nowhere close for free to play. They need more items and they need all the heroes before they go free to play. That's what was said. And I'm like,
someone living in fantasy land.
Right.
I'm sorry, respectfully. Sorry, I don't know what that is.
And that's fine. That's your opinion. That you're not wrong with your opinion. You're okay with that in that situation. And they might be living in fantasy land, and that's fine. But they're also living in a what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're timid. They're very timid with wanting to move forward because they're afraid that SMS might have another release. The early access release was bad, so they're afraid the full release will go bad. If that goes bad, then that's going to be an issue, and that's so they're timid. They want to hold back and like, nope, let's not do anything. Let's not have a bad release. The thing is like, why don't we take advantage of the positivity we're having now?
Can I just bring? I know you brought this up a couple times, but like a lot of what was bad about the launch of Fault was, I would say 7 out of 10 things was out of SMS's hands. The issue with the Steam bundles being fucked up, I was part of that team. I know what was supposed to happen, and that did not happen, but it still falls on SMS, right? And I can tell you, I personally did thousands of emails of giving people extra credits to make up for the issues that happened. Yep. The entire East Coast data centers going down. Like Amazon Prime was down, and they were on Prime servers. That was an SMS. Now, the game not running as well as it should have. That I'm with you guys. And like, if SMS released now and there was no thing, I think SMS would be having thousands of people play a day right now on average gameplay. Personally,
they've already proven that their servers can handle it now. Like we've been live for over 2 years now. Like we're good. Like we can do this. Let's go. Let's keep it rocking. So like we're good in that regard. Like other games they haven't been live, for as long as we have. They need to test to make sure they can handle as many people on the servers as what we've been able to show. Like we can do it. Like we're like, I don't know why we wouldn't take advantage of the positivity that we have. Like 76% positive fucking Steam reviews. Let's go. They teased and showed that we're eventually going to Epic launcher, right? So we got positive on Steam. Let's go to Epic. Let's get positive on Epic now too. Let's get positive reviews there. Let's do this. Let's show growth. Let's keep going.
For all we know, I mean, again, I know nothing. It could be that they're just building up all that content. So when they go 100% free to play, they have stuff to drop. Like, because when they go free to play, they're going to have to drop something at least bi-weekly, if not weekly, I would imagine, in order to stay going. And then when you guys were talking about the skins, I was talking to my daughter, and like I love that Chimera skin. I agree it's not on the same level, but I also feel that they need to have $5 skins, $10 skins, and $20 skins. I mean, shit. I'll tell you this. In Valorant, I'm buying fucking skins that are fucking $70 bundles for skins. Like, people will pay if it's good, but you have to have a sliding scale. You know what I mean? For like,
you can't just put out all $20 skins. You got to have the lower end, down there as well.
Not everyone can afford a Mercedes or will buy a Mercedes. You need to afford Fiestas.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. We don't want Roblox skins in the game.
Ford Focus.
Jeez almighty.
Hey.
Actually, Roblox, I think that'd be really cool if they had like...
Well, look, Paragon had a Roblox skin.
Yeah, Box Rock.
Only the OGs will remember that.
I actually think that would be really cool if they did like a PS1 skin, like where it was just like all polygons, like looking like Tekken and shit.
Well, here's the thing. Again, I'll bring up Valorant again. Valorant did that. They released skins that look like Metal Gear Solid skins out. Right, and it's like a simplistic. It looks like a original Modern Warfare Metal Gear Solid skin, and it was a hit. People still use it.
Hold on, you just combined two games. You really threw me off there. Did you mean to do that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I was like, wait,
I was giving the time frame of the mid
Gotcha.
mid
All
to
right.
late 90s graphics quality.
But you know those aren't the same game, right? Like Modern Warfare, Metal Gear Solid. You know that one? Like, no, they didn't make that one.
Man,
One of the greatest games ever.
I do not want any, that texture. I do not want it in the game. That's the reason I don't play fucking Minecraft or Roblox or any of that stuff. I want nothing to do with it. But no, I do think we are getting close. I think it is ready to go. I don't think we need all heroes. I don't think we need more items. If we have more items, great. Let's go. Bring them in. If we have more heroes, great. Bring them in. But like, I don't think it's something that is needed at this point. I think what they said at the beginning of that last patch, hey, these next few patches are going to be focused on getting rid of the bugs that we've had and optimization and making the game play better. That is what's going to help us get to free to play. That is what we need to do.
And titty physics.
I can't with you, bro.
Yeah. Pancake titty should definitely be flopping.
That just reminds me of Narbash.
Somebody
Jesus.
Blue pill tonight.
What the hell?
I always take the blue pill before these, brother. I don't know if you ever watched these, but
Grux doesn't jump. He IHOPs.
Oh, Windu, just wait. Just wait, Windu. You'll get there. Married with Children is going to make a lot more sense in another 6 months to a year. Don't worry.
Anyway, Jesus Christ.
I agree with the current roster, Mola.
I can't with you, bro. But
Molo and Huddy, thank you both for the subs. I appreciate you both.
I didn't sub. Oh, yeah, I did.
Bullshit, you did.
I didn't do shit. But so let me ask you guys something real quick. As far as, so we've already agreed that they are going in a good direction. That maybe they've slowed down. Maybe they're, and like Bearded just mentioned, they're focusing more on the quality aspect, focusing more on refining what they've got and moving forward. Do you guys think that Fault will ever be in a spot that it will be ready for console? And I say it that way specifically because there's always something that they want to do before full release. There's always something that they want to do before the next patch. There's always, like, you feel me? There's always like, oh, well, let's do this, let's do that. Like, that ambition is good, but that ambition also causes delays.
Well, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, it's actually easier on console for optimization because there's less variables, right? It's
Like 2, 3 systems, 60 FPS.
correct.
Yeah.
And now that you just hit my next point, it's either 30 or 60 frames. A lot of people don't realize a lot of games on consoles up to, I don't know about the PS5. I know on the PS4, a lot of games were still 30 frames on PS4. A lot of them. Right. Like God of War, when they did the PS4 Pro bundle with God of War, you had to have a Slim or a Pro to get to 60 frames God of War consistently. So that's another thing that people don't realize is I'm not saying it's easier to program on console. It's just less variables you have to worry about. Because with us, just us four in this Zoom call, we all four of us have vastly different computers, CPUs, stuff running in the background that's going to vastly change how the game performs at all times. PlayStation, are you making fun of me, Goose? Are you?
I was like, what is going on?
PlayStation, it's what you're getting. Here it is, and it only has to hit 45 to 60 frames, consistent frames.
I don't know. I literally am ignorant when it comes to this topic. But what I hear and and I don't know if I didn't fact check it, so I don't know if it's true. And maybe you guys can let me know. But isn't it easier to port more of a finished product from PC to console?
So when you go to port it over to console, it has to go through a check from Sony and or Microsoft or Xbox, because they're going to scan it to make sure there's no viruses or large something that would put a security issue into their infrastructure and their service of games. So there is an extra step that it goes through. So it takes longer to release on console.
Okay.
If they want to be successful, they should have been targeting console a long time ago. Like, if they truly want to be successful within this community, they need to bring this game to console as soon as possible.
You know what? Speaking of bringing it to places, what the hell happened to the Epic Game Store? You think that's going to be for full release? What's going on with that?
Are they not there already? Are they on there? I'm going to even check to see if they're there.
I don't go on Epic Game Store. I literally have no clue.
I mean, I could check right now, but I know for a fact they would have made a post and be like, "Yo, we're on the Epic Game Store. Check us out." But the reason why I bring it up is because, my bad. I was just gonna say the reason why I bring it up is because I know that they mentioned that they were gonna go to the Epic Game Store, and they've mentioned that before they've even mentioned the word console officially. So that leads me to believe before they go to console, they're going to try and cross-platform within the actual PC sphere, so to speak.
Well, a big thing is when Epic Games Store only takes 10% compared to Steam's 33%. So when everyone's like, they're raking in money, you got to remember, they're paying Unreal Engine, then they're paying Epic, because you got to pay a portion once you make a certain amount of money, and they're paying Steam.
They're not paying Unreal Engine yet, though, are they? I thought they had to. Oh, they are?
It's a certain. Once you hit a certain threshold, it automatically you have to. Now, what that threshold is, I don't remember, and I'm not going to give a number to make it.
Anytime you're making money with Epic assets, you have to pay Epic 5%.
Okay, so you know okay, so you do that 33 and then the 5. So every dollar that you're giving them, just right there, 40 cents. I know it's 38. I'm just being facetious, but 40 cents
Texas.
Every dollar is going somewhere else. So it's
right.
People forget that also.
So it's going to be. I mean, they're still going to have the 33 because they're still going to stay on Steam. But if they go on Epic, then it's going to be the 10% plus the 5%. So it'll be 15% going to Epic in that regard.
No, Epic. If you launch it on the Epic Store, they don't take that 5% because they're already taking their percentage out of the Epic Store.
Oh, okay.
I did a lot of research on this back in the day.
No, that's good information. That's good information. So it's all right.
It's better monetarily for them for sure.
Now you look, so now it's 10% instead of 38%, right? That's a big difference.
But
Epic
doesn't provide as much back-end support as Steam does. So you have to pay for your own back-end support whenever you go through Epic. Back-end support being like charging people's credit cards, that kind of shit.
So on Epic or on Steam, it's 33% plus the 5, which is 38, right? And then if you go to Epic, that 5 is already taken out. So you're paying an extra 5%, but you're also getting the advertisement on Epic's launcher as well for anybody who doesn't use Steam. So you're getting more people in that. So that 5% almost pays for it. That 5% extra almost pays for itself just for the advertisement side of it.
Well, I guess it depends. Because to pay 5% to throw shit against the wall, hoping something sticks, doesn't necessarily mean it's a good 5% spot.
Oh,
I mean, that's a pretty big fucking wall too, bro. The Epic launcher after Fortnite has so many fucking users. It's actually crazy.
Mm-hmm. Still not as big as Steam, though.
Yeah, nothing's even close to Steam. That's why they can charge 33%. But like Goose said, another thing is, I believe Steam's 33% includes the 2 or 3% the Visa or MasterCard, or depending on whomever your merchant is, those fees are already included with that 33%.
Congrats, Appy. Congrats. Sorry to interrupt you, Huddy, but that's awesome. Good to hear.
What's good to hear? Since for the people listening that just randomly heard that. Appy had a kid. Shout out to Appy.
Yes.
Abby's a daddy?
Right.
Oh, man, dude. Do you understand how old this shit's making me feel?
Bro, do you understand that when Bearded said it might be another 2 years, I'm like, so I'm going to have a 2-year-old on the release of Fault?
They'll be talking.
Yeah, like, that shit hits me harder, bro. I'm like, fuck.
I don't think Fault can live in another 2 years before it hits free to play. I don't think it'll be able to make it that long. But then again, we don't know what the ultimate game plan is for the studio.
Free to play, yes. That's when we were having that conversation of just separating the two of them. I would say they could go free to play and then be full release
and still be early access.
And still be early access. That's what I was saying. So that's
how long was Fortnite beta, right?
Oh, dude, fucking forever.
I think they were forced out of beta by the world of games, or it's just like, hey man, cut this shit out, bro. Well, that's like it's already been 2 years. Chill the fuck out.
They're not the only ones, but they are a part of it. Of the reason why consumers don't respect the early access tag.
Early access, alpha, beta,
they don't respect it because these AAA companies will abuse it to the point where you're playing Fortnite and this is a full, like when they went full release, it was the same game you were playing. Like nothing was big when they went full release. Like the biggest thing is that they were no longer going to do Save the World. They were no longer making any changes to Save the World. So if anything, when they went full release, a negative thing happened to them. That's it. Like nothing positive. Like, oh my gosh, we're going full release. Here's a big party. Nothing.
One of the big things is that it just happened in the gaming industry over the last 15, 20 years is quality testing and paid testers have gone by the wayside. Games get released in beta and access and you pay 50, 60, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70 to play the game and it's not ready. And they're just going to patch it. It's just... It
happens a lot, but that's more of a publisher issue. That's more of deadlines, publisher, and be like, hey, we're going to get out a product, fix it later.
Yeah, well, it's that because the quality, there's no testers anymore. Testers are all volunteer online. People used to get paid to go and play a game and beat their head against the wall trying to figure out what's wrong with it. Those jobs are almost all gone because it gets released out to the public as early access. And it's like, here, it's free labor. Right? Go play, find the bugs, report it. Now you're helping us build the game. Thank you. Because it's hard to find a multiplayer game that's come out in the last 5 years that hasn't had major issues. Because it's going to come out and they're going to patch it and they're going to, because they don't do the internal testing anymore.
I mean, bro, we even saw PlayStation release a console without their SSD support. And they're like, we're going to include that later on a software update. Just because they're like, yo, we got to release our console this year. Like, it's a norm in the industry. You're not wrong. But
it's sad.
Yeah, but as far as fault goes, right? Like, I mean, constructive criticism and such, right? What do you, Huddy, think Fault's crutches right now? As far as let's say their progression in their team specifically, like ignore player base and the, like the flaws that we can nitpick in the game. As far as progression that you've seen in their team, what do you think is their crutch, and how do you think they could fix that?
You're saying their crutch, so something
they're the weakest point. Yeah, well, like the weakest point.
Their weakest point right now. Just the ability, special effects stuff like that small oomph that Overprime and Predecessor have, the shine, the lipstick on the pig. for I don't, you know what I mean? I think that's their biggest weakest point right now.
Lipstick.
Listen, I didn't say lipstick on a jackass. I said lipstick on a pig. Right? But I think that is their weakest point. I think the thing that's keeping them going is the devotion to a third-person MOBA. Like, it's a small but loyal fan base that over 2 years, their numbers have been almost a straight line across the board with spikes and dips here and there. But they're averaging almost the same amount. And there's enough of a player base where I can jump on at 6 p.m. every night and get a game within 3 minutes. Every single night.
Okay.
I think they just need to, continue doing what they're doing, but they just need to. Another thing we're not seeing yet, we have yet to see, and I can't wait to see, because I hope to see a big change with it, is the marketing. Once marketing starts getting pushed out there, like, the player base should grow. But going off of what Huddy just said and stick to being a third person, I think what they need. The map is great. Spot is doing a great job, but I think we need to take advantage of more Z-axis areas. Not just, hey, here's a spot you can jump over. More like platforms you can climb on or something or whatever. Like, that needs to be emphasized. We need to be a little more different than Smite in that regard. Yeah, you can't jump over walls or whatever, or you can't look up and down, but like, just kind of strive to be a little even more different in the third person job.
And which I think they could do with items. And I think Predecessor is actually already doing that a little bit with items. And they should follow suit. Because Predecessor has an item that after you walk far enough, you get extra boost to your jump, which gives everybody that verticality.
Yep.
Fall could do something very similar.
Yeah, no, I completely. The moon boots you talk about. Yep. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's the exact names, but that's kind of what they you almost look like. Seems
they gave everyone.
That's exactly what I call them.
Oda
Basically,
a good point. More jump pads. Like, they had more jump pads in Paragon. They took them out because whatever. I guess they were unbalanced or something like that. But
I think I've seen one of your videos of Shinbi. You jumping across mid lane. You shot across mid lane.
Yeah, and
jump pad right there.
Yep.
I think it's just a rotation issue. You know what I'm saying? Because like the way that the map is right now, rotations already feel very quick.
Yep.
You get me? And that's even with the movement feeling slow.
Yep. There is no negative effect of rotating to you going from mid lane to duo lane. You're not feeling that pain of I left my lane to help out duo lane.
Go play Overprime and come back and play. You feel the pain. I think it's just a map thing. I think
you feel it in the regards of you just feeling you're slow, but you don't feel it in the regards of losing your tower. Or you don't feel it in regards of losing that much CS. That's the biggest issue with that. Like, you left. When you leave lane, you should like oh my gosh, I lost an X amount of CS because I did that. And it needs to be warranted in regards.
I will say the size easily could be bigger without taking away from the core gameplay experience. I'll use Ethereal as the example. Ethereal's map is fucking gigantic. Like, you could get lost low key in Ethereal's map. Walk around, go for a stroll. You'll be like, whose fucking jungle am I in?
Each lane is its own map.
Basically. Yeah. Each lane is its own map. And simultaneously, you can still do your rotations and it doesn't actually take you out of the game. Like, you don't sit there and you're like, fuck, I'm flying for I'm walking for like hours trying to get over here. And you don't get that feeling. Because if you have a good enough size map, then that's when you can tinker with the movement speed and such. Because people already complain. A lot of like newer people always have like a little complaint about Fault feeling slow. Like, you get me? Like, you need boots to even move relatively normal, or what feels normal to the perception, right? But if they had a bigger map, they easily could ramp up the movement speed a little bit. That way it actually feels like you're going somewhere. We all know in shooting games, when you're running, if they emulate that feeling of running, regardless of what your speed is, you feel like you're actually getting somewhere, you know? So they easily could fix a lot with a bigger map. But now, knowing that a new bigger map is coming, I don't know, but I really doubt that there's going to be a new map in 2022. I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Maybe improvements, but
see, and
if I feel like if the new map was that close, we wouldn't have seen the changes and the beautification that we've seen to the map we already using.
I think that was an engine upgrade more than anything.
Well, they've already said that they're upgrading to the latest version of Unreal, which is compatible with Unreal Engine 5, right? And they haven't confirmed that they're going Unreal Engine 5, but if they do, maybe that's what they're waiting for, to start creating a new, bigger map, better performance, etc. Possible, because we all know 2022 is when Unreal Engine 5 comes out. That could be what they're waiting for. But then that would beg the question, how long is it going to take to actually implement? Because we saw what this little revamp, how long that took.
Well, if whatever we're on right now, 4.37 or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever the hell that is. I don't know.
Whatever version that we're on now, that's not just Unreal Engine 4 going into 5. If it's compatible with 5, would you not be able to, in a sense, create the map now, get everything ready to go, and then when 5 is there, make the tweaks that are needed and then implement it?
That's a good point.
That's what they could be doing.
Who knows if they are, right?
Yeah, they could be working on the map a little bit on the back end, getting it ready.
And then just waiting to make the leap and actually transition over. Because that would be dope as fuck. That'd be sick. Imagine they announce it's like, hey, we're officially transitioning to Unreal Engine 5. You know, speculation on our part, but hopeful.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, 2-3 months after, they're like, hey, new map. We've been working on it this whole time. Took a little bit to refine. Took a month or two to test consistently on it. Here you go, guys. That would be dope.
They only a month or two. They need an hour or two. Come on. We're going OG ways.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Right.
Yeah, man. But I will say, I want to start wrapping it up here a little bit. But I will say, I was shocked that I didn't just hear anything out of Strange Matters this past week. Like nothing, not even like a little tweet, little interaction. Be like, sup.
Yeah, it's been 10 days.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, they don't necessarily have to always report shit, right? Or always give us something. But like, for example, they just released a Decker skin. Like, what I was gonna say is they just released a Decker skin, right? Could just share a clip of the Decker, of somebody doing a cool stun with a Decker skin or something, or getting a kill with a stun using that skin. Be like, yo, have you checked out our latest skin? You know, something.
Yeah.
I know they got they're up to over 12,000 followers on Twitter. So they're growing on Twitter again after for a while. That's good news too.
Yeah, they were on a good streak there. For a good while, they were on a good streak. Couple different posts a week. Could have been content related. Could have been like asking community questions, you know, getting feedback. Could have been a contest, whatever it may be. Like, you know, they were actually pretty on point with that. Like, hell, they literally could have just had a giveaway for the skin on Twitter. One person that wins the giveaway. All you got to do is comment the word Decker and retweet this. We're going to pick a winner. That would have drove up the engagement on their post. It would have helped them. And then simultaneously, they're just giving out one skin. They can afford to give out one skin. You know? Just an idea.
Yeah.
I will say, I saw one little engagement out of them in the past week. It wasn't an official post. It was just replying to somebody. But Alex Gonzalez on Twitter wrote, "Wow, I didn't know you guys were giving like a set date for the full release or whatever. But the fact that you've even mentioned full release in a while means we must be getting a step closer. Take your time ironing out the wrinkles so we can get a gem of a game out to the masses." Dope post, right? And then Strange Matter replied, "We're always taking steps towards that ultimate goal and getting closer by the day, thanks to all of your guys' help. This is what early access is all about, and we couldn't have made this much progress without you." I thought that was a beautiful fucking post. I would not have posted it as a comment. I would have retweeted it as an individual separate post so that the entire community gets to see it at a more limelight fashion, right? And other individuals can also comment on it.
I don't disagree with you.
But say, am I being too picky?
No, I don't disagree with you. Like, yeah, you definitely get more of the limelight out of that. But SMS has always been that company that's not really trying to get the limelight. They've always, and I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. They just always been that company that just like they're gonna do them, and they're not trying to be.
They're not trying to show off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, go back to that when they did the. I guess it's somewhat of trying to do limelight, but they were just trying to get their name out there. They weren't literally trying to win the thing. When they did the the little
contest at Ubisoft Montreal or whatever it was. Yeah,
they did the Ubisoft Montreal contest. They were just trying to get name out there. They weren't trying to win the thing. They weren't like trying to be, hey, look, look at us, we won this. They were just like, hey, let's get our name out there. Let's people, to see who we are as SMS. They've never been that, hey, look at us type of company. Which it can't.
They should be.
Right. No,
because that's what marketing is, showing off your product. Hey, we did this tiny change. Let me show this shit to you.
I do have to say, though, they did make another post before that. That was, it hasn't been that long. It was only 5 days ago or whatever. They did post the letting them know about the hot fix that they did have because they were having issues of the game crashing and all that stuff with that. So they did push a hot fix and they made a post about that and pushing forward and showing a picture of the map. So.
Are you talking about on their Twitter announcements?
Yeah, Twitter announcements. Yep. Since last time we released a hotfix to address many of the game's server crashes you have experiencing due to the reconnection issues. Thank you for all your reports. If you encounter any more issues, please reach out to us at our Discord. And they left a link to their Discord there. So
I like it.
No, it was great. And it was also good. I love SMS to me, ever since like when something is really big as an issue, they're pretty quick when it comes to a hot fix. Like they don't like really drag their feet to it. If it's that big of an issue, if it's something that's really going on. Now, if it's like, hey, I'm getting stuck at inhibitor, like whatever, the little inhibitor ring, it's like, okay, it's not, I mean, it does suck 100%, but it's not like, oh my gosh. But when you got people that are literally, it seems like people are just going AFK off matches, but it's actually a connection issue or a crashing issue. That's a bigger deal, and they jump right to it.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I almost kind of hate that we look this closely at Strange Matters sometimes. I'll be real with you. Like, it's almost like ignorance is bliss, Like, I wish I didn't know that there's been job posting. There's been a job posting for a programmer there for over a year. Like, in my mind, I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, do I got to go out there and start just looking at programmers looking for jobs and be like, hey, you need a job? Hit them up. Like, I'm just like, bruh. But that shit just drives me fucking crazy. I would say though, like, to end on a good light here, they have been doing good progress the past couple of months, right? Like there's constant talk of maybe even new heroes on the horizons. We'll see. Like, I don't know why, but it at least to me, it feels like in the past month, ever since, like Feng Mao got added, the talks of a new hero just started coming up, and people constantly mention, hey, do you know who the next hero is going to be? Or who do you think the next hero is going to be? Like, it's getting people excited for a steady flow of heroes. Right. Yeah,
I'm excited for Revenant. Revenant's going to be great.
I can't with you, Brian. You imagine? But yeah,
if it is Revenant, I'm gonna lose partner because I think I leaked it, but I didn't actually know it. I literally just shat my pants. I don't know.
It'll be Zinx, and like 1% of the community will be like, "Fuck yes," and everybody else will be like, "Oh, okay."
I forgot about it until you just said that. I totally forgot about fucking.
Yeah, but I guarantee goddamn 1% of the community would be like all over it.
I don't know who this ZX character is. What's ZX?
I can't remember.
Dr. Small created her along with Howitzer and Boris in Phase.
Is that actually the lore?
Yeah.
Don't say yeah, like that's normal to know. He's like, don't you know? No.
Never fucking question Mangoose with the lore.
I always question Mangoose, right? What the fuck? But no, guys, let's go ahead and call it here. We're right at that 2-hour mark. Howdy, you got anything to say? And let's do it a little different. Instead of words of wisdom to the community, right, as we usually do, what do you have to say to Strange Matters, the company?
Good luck. Or you want more?
That's it? What the fuck? Good luck.
Hey, just keep grinding and please get more active on your socials. Got to be hitting the people at least 3 times a week, because you can't assume that everyone's going to see that one tweet or that one post that you do. Just get more active, and please, when you get ready to have early free to play or early access, please start doing free to play weekends to start to build up the hype for it, and have a storyboard set up for your marketing plan to get it ready to go. That's it. I'll shut up now. I'll go back in my corner.
Heard so easy, Ed. He's been trying to get marketing manager. Hey, hit up Huddy. Huddy will help you pass the test with flying colors, bro. Oh man. And Goose, what do you got to say to them, bro?
We've watched Strange Matter grow and mature as a company over these past 2 years, and it's been actually a fun process to watch them grow. They still have a lot of growing to do, but they've come a long way, and it's good to see. And hopefully they'll keep moving forward. They've taken a lot of, like I always said, the 2 steps forward, 1 step back. They're starting to transition into 2 steps forward always, and that's really good to see. And it's reflected in their Steam reviews.
True. Bearded?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Huddy and Mangoose both said, and I think we need to take advantage of these positive moments and keep pushing forward. I mean, if we're getting this good of Steam reviews in this regard, we need to do something big and get our name out there more. So whether that be like what Huddy said, putting more, out on the socials, or free to play weekends, or just doing something more for it, getting more out there for that free to play. We need to keep pushing. We need to take advantage of the positivity. Huddy said earlier in the show that Overprime announced that they're pushing back their early access. Well, we're already out here. We're already out here with early access. Let's take advantage of that. They're pushing it back. Let's look. All right, now we know we have a gap, a time. We need to go jump in that. We need to take advantage of the time that we were just given and jump on it.
Jump on it. Sorry, you got to me.
Jump around.
No, chill. No. I didn't mean to do this. Chill the fuck out, guys. No, let's not go down that rabbit hole, please. Oh my god. No, I mean my only thing would be I just really want to see them continue progressing as a company. because Goose did bring up a great point. Like from the moment they started to where they are now, Strange Matters as a company is very, very different. And we can see how they push out their patches, how they communicate, everything very, very different. And I give them kudos all day. Shout out to them. That's good shit, what they've been up to. Just know that from now on, every time I compare any time frame to you guys, I'm going to compare it to my kid that I just had. Like, if I'm literally going to be like, well, all right, I had a 2-year-old waiting for this shit to happen. Can you imagine? All right, like, yo, my kid's 1, still hasn't happened. But no, on the what do you want, bro?
Don't blink, because your daughter, just don't blink.
No, I mean you're totally right, bro. Like low key, it's crazy to even think that we started talking about Fall over 2 years ago. It's crazy, and Goose and Huddy, you guys were there right in the beginning. It's crazy to even think that we started talking to Strange Matters as a company over 2 years ago. Fucking mind blowing. Mm-hmm. They've done a lot of good work. This past actually, so they technically announced themselves to the world on October, I think it was. Like, hey, we're doing this shit in November. So, I mean, it's been a while. But my whole point is, at the end of the day, the time is going to fly. But it is important to also recognize how much work they've done in the 2 years. So definitely shout out to them. I can't wait to see what 2 more years are going to bring. But at the end of the day, I hope that the progress comes sooner rather than later. I know that's always what we hope for. It's going to take whatever time it's going to take. Take that with a grain of salt, everybody. Like, we might be speculating here like, oh, free to play in this time frame, or full release maybe in this time frame, or they can split it up, etc. But at the end of the day, that's going to come down to whatever Strange Matters decides to do as part of their marketing plan. Hashtag find a marketing manager. But yeah, much love. We appreciate everybody watching. Thank you so much. And for those of you that don't know, these moments, I guess you could say, this podcast, we do it in YouTube. Oh my God, I don't even know my own outro. Jesus Christ. We upload these to YouTube every single week. We do actually do them live on Bearded Wolverine's channel, and they also do get uploaded in podcast form to Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. So if you guys did make it this far, please leave a GG in the comments, wherever the hell those comments are, right? Wherever you're watching this, leave a GG to let us know that you made it this far. We really appreciate you guys. And as always, to the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Man, go.